What's up guys, my name's Den and today I'm going to show you how to make this responsive services section. I saw Valve do it on their website. It's a great design, super customizable, responsive too with no media queries, which is mad. And before we do start, there's a link in the description with all the images I'm using in this project. So if you want to follow along exactly how I'm making it, pause the video, download that, and I'll see you in Sublime Text. Alright guys, here we're in Sublime Text. Obviously feel free to use whatever text editor you want to use, it's entirely up to you. So we just have the standard HTML boilerplate right here. The only thing I've added is a viewport meta tag. If you don't know what that does, it basically just takes the viewport's width and makes it the same width as the device's screen you're viewing the page on. Okay, if that's confusing, I'll say it one more time. It takes the viewport's width and makes it the same size as the screen you're viewing it on. So if you're viewing it on a mobile or a tablet, it basically just squeezes the website's page to the same size as your device's display. I mean, that's as much I'm going to say about it. To be honest, if you want to learn more about it, I highly recommend you go to W3 Schools, and on there you can read all about it. It's not a long read either, but I highly recommend it. It's really good for making responsive websites. And then obviously I just gave it a title of server section, and I've just linked the style CSS file to the actual project. Alright, so straight off the bat, we're going to have a div tag, and it's going to have a class of heading wrap. All lowercase. And inside this div tag, we're going to have the actual heading title. So another div tag again, with a class of heading title. If I can spell. There we go. This is going to say features. No, it's not going to say features. What I'm saying, it's going to say our services. If I can spell. There we go. How hard was that? Alright, and then under here we're going to have another div tag, and this is going to have a class of underline. Alright, because with this what we're going to do is we're going to just make a nice little like white underline underneath the title, which is just going to look nice, just visually looks more appealing. It's not going to have anything in the div tag though. Okay, and then now we're getting to the main bunk of the main bunk. What the f is that? So the features container is just going to basically contain all of this, the picture, the circle, the background, everything. So we can refer to it better. I actually spelled container wrong. Nice one there. Alright, and in here, it's obviously going to have another div tag of class. It's going to say feature info. We're doing this because that way we can refer to it a lot easier. We have like feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, feature 4. For example, we're going to have to, every time we want to apply a style, we're going to have to keep, changing it in multiple places. Where if we just have feature info, we can edit all of them with just a couple of lines of code. And it's a lot cleaner as well. Okay, so in here, you're going to have another div tag, a class of image wrap. And you're going to have an image tag in here, okay? And if you don't know how I keep doing it fast, you just type, say, img, and you hit tab, and it'll autofill it for you. And the source of this, it might be different to yours, depending if you download the images from the description. But if you are following it exactly how I'm doing it, then it's going to be / images. And we're going to use the mic first, so it's going to be mic icon .svg. And basically the / it just jumps into our overall project folder, and it's going to jump up one to the next folder, which is obviously images. Okay, the alt, which stands for alternative, which take that out because we don't really need to worry about screen readers for this tutorial. And under the image, we're going to have the body text, so it's going to have another div class. Okay, class is going to be a body text wrap. Alright, and here we're going to contain the title and like the little paragraph about what the feature does. Okay, so it's going to have a h2 class. It's going to give it a class of title, and it's going to say live chat. Okay, then we're going to have a p tag, and it's going to have a class or body text, info text. Alright, and here I actually already have all of the like little info texts pre-wrote. So what I'm going to do is we'll just write out all the main code, and then I'll just copy and paste them in, and I'll slowly go down so you can just either copy exactly what I wrote or write your own things in there. It's entirely up to you. Okay. And then underneath this div tag, we're going to have an A tag, which is going to have a high ref of hashtag, which just means it'll just be a dummy link so we can use it. It's going to have a class of more info, okay? So more info. It's going to say learn more. Alright. And if we get rid of this last div tag, because this is the overall wrap, and if we just knock this down, we comment this. If you don't know how to do that, you press Control and where the question mark is on your keyboard, okay? For Mac, I don't really know. I imagine it might be Command question mark, but for Windows, Control question mark, that allow you to comment. So we can say what it is. So say this is feature 1, so we don't get confused in what we're doing, okay? And the cool thing is that's mainly the main bulk, really. We just need to then copy this and Control V. And we'll do another comment, and we'll say feature 2. Okay, and then feature 2, this is community. So change the live chat to community. And we'll change the image directory. It's going to change from mic icon to people. People.svg. Okay. And then again the text, we just leave that for now. I'll do that after. Okay, and then we just copy again, Control V. Comment once again. Alright, feature 3. Okay. And then we'll change feature 3, I believe is, sorry, I'm referring to my code, player broadcasting. Okay, so this could be player broadcasting. If I can spell. Alright, and then this is going to go from the mic icon again to TV.svg. Okay, and again, just same what we've just done. Control V. Tab over a tiny bit. Oh, grab all of it. Tab over a tiny bit. There we go. And then control question mark. This will be feature 4. Feature 4, I believe, is the mobile. So mobile.svg. Okay. And then we just need to obviously change this to available on mobile. So available, that looks wrong, but okay, available on mobile. And right, we'll start filling out the actual info text. Okay, so we'll go all the way back to feature 1. I'll be right back and I'll fill each one out, and I'll just scroll down for you. So if you want to copy exactly what I wrote or write your own, feel free, but I'll do it that way. Okay, so I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so I'm back. If you look at the info text, all filled out now. So what I do is I'll just hold the screen like this for a second. You can pause it, copy exactly what I wrote, or write your own little description. I just took this off Steam's homepage, so it's entirely up to you. It's all here. I'll leave it like that. You can see them all in one swoop. Okay, so pause the video, copy that, and that's all the HTML done. We jump straight into the CSS. Okay, so we'll Control S that to save, close the images folder, and we'll jump straight into the CSS. Right, so with the CSS, we're gonna go straight into Google Fonts and get our font ready. Okay, so go straight to Google. We got enlarge, type in Google Fonts, go straight on Google Fonts, and I'm going to use Poppins. So in the search bar, type Poppins, hit that little plus icon, click the box, and we're going to import this. Okay, so between the two style tags, we're going to just copy that bit of code. So Control C, Go straight back to Sublime Text, Control V that in. Then we're just quickly set up in the body as well, so we get the body tag. And we're just going to copy this font family bit. So copy. And we're just going to paste that in between. So now we've got all that set up. Okay, so now the font will be all set up and working. And then up here, we're just literally going to jump straight into the main bulk of the code. Before we do, actually, I'm just going to override the padding and margin properties. So we're going to say margin 0. Padding 0. We're also going to do the box sizing border box. If you know what that does, it's basically just lets us, what the hell am I chatting? The box sizing, it basically allows us to change the width a lot more easier. Let's do a lot more of the width basically. Okay, so pass the body tag. Let's start with a heading wrap. Okay, so it's going to be a display of flex. We're going to justify content to the center. We're going to align items to the center again. And then we're going to set the flex direction, which basically is just what direction we're going to make it go. And we're going to say column. So it's going to go down the screen vertically. I'm going to give that a padding top of 40 pixels, okay? And then we're going to jump into the features container. And it's the same sort of thing, to be honest. Just features container. And again, we're going to give it a display flex. Justify the content to the center. We're going to align items to the center. But this time we're going to set the flex direction to row, okay? Now we're going to use flex wrap. This is the main key point of the overall design, okay? So if you don't know what flex wrap does, it basically, rather than when the screen gets smaller and it squashes all of the content into like the same line, flex wrap basically allows the content to wrap to another line. So without breaking the design, it just, each time it can't fit on one line, it just goes to the next line, the next line, and the next line, the next line, which is really great for responsive design, because regardless of how small the screen is, the design will always look the same. It'll look nice. So this is why we use it. So we write flex wrap as the keyword, and we just say wrap, and that wraps it. Pretty simple. I'm going to have a margin of 40 pixels on the top. 40 pixels on the top. I'm going to set left and right to auto. I'm going to say 70 pixels on the bottom. So I'm going to write it like that. Okay, 3 like values. 40 pixels is the left, so the first number basically is always the bottom. Auto, which is the middle property. Middle property is always the left and right, and the last property is the top. Okay, so first property the bottom, middle property the left and right, and tops the last property. Okay, and then we're going to set the height to auto, and we're going to give it a width 50 VW. Okay, if you don't know what VW is, it stands for viewport width, which means regardless of what size the page actually goes to, this container is going to take up 50% basically of the overall viewport width. Okay, so if we Control S that, now if we actually launch the file, obviously with you can just right click it and open in browser via browser sync, which basically launches a live server. So open that. Let me see what we've got so far, shall we? Okay, so obviously right now it's looking horrible, which is perfectly fine. We're going to fix that. So we're going to make this smaller. We're going to put this side by side now, so we can actually see what we're doing. Okay, so straight off the bat as well, I'm going to change the background. So background color. We'll change this to 141414. Okay, that's going to give it like a nice black. You can also see the pictures now, which is a little bit better. Don't worry, we're going to obviously shrink that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next section, which is going to be the feature info. If you remember the feature info, if you go back at our HTML, just close this so it's less confusing. The feature info is all of this, okay? So basically it's all of that, the picture, the title, the info, and the little anchor tag as well, okay? So we're going to edit all that in one swoop, which just makes it a hell of a lot easier than having to keep writing out the same text over and over again, okay? So feature info, just going to write feature info. And this is going to have the same sort of things. We have display flex. We're going to set we're going to justify content even to center. We're going to align the items to the center. Set the flex direction. Why can't I type today? Flex direction. There we go. To column, so it goes down screen vertically. We're going to add a padding 20 pixels. And we're going to obviously give it a cursor, a pointer, so if a user's using it, for example, they can know it's clickable. And see, just with that, you can already see it's kind of already a little bit more responsive. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's nice and in line. Drag it, it's going to fit or not. I lied. We're not ready yet.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Crack straight on with the titles, okay? So we're going to do the heading title, I believe. What's it called? Is that what we called it? Yep, the heading title. So start with the heading title. Then it's going to have a font size of 50, okay? So 50 pixels. It's going to have a color of white. It's going to have a font weight of 600. Okay, if you don't know what font weight does, it basically just makes it a little bit fatter. So if you look at it, you see it's a bit more fat. You can actually kind of see what it's doing. Alright, okay, with the heading wrap, it was a class, not a ID. There we go. And then we need to also do the border as well. So I believe that was a class as well, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So dot underline. I'm going to give this a width of, let's say, 300 pixels. I'm going to give it a height of, let's say, 4 pixels. And we give it a background color of white as well. Which gives a nice little kind of underline feature that's kind of pretty. Right, yeah, so then we get cracking all the images. So dot image wrap. It's going to have a height of 80 pixels. It's going to have a width of 80 pixels. And it's going to have a background color of 292929. Very weird hex code, but okay. A border radius of 50%. So we're going to have that nice kind of circular sort of shape. And that's what we're going to do with that right now. If you just Control S that, you can kind of see. Obviously, of course, it looks incredibly broken right now. Don't worry, we'll fix that. Just set that image size basically. Okay, so images. It's going to have a height 80 pixels, a width of 80 pixels, and a padding of 20 pixels. If I can spell, why can't I spell today? Padding of 20 pixels. Alright guys, so I did make a little mistake. I actually forgot to add a class to the image tag. So all we will do quickly to fix that so it all fits perfectly is just obviously add a class to the image tag in the HTML, okay? It's going to have a class of images. And see, that's just going to make it fit nicely, okay? So just do that quick, it shouldn't take long. And I'll see you back in the CSS. Alright guys, so hopefully you fixed my typo there. Sorry about that. You can kind of see how it's already turning out now. You know what I mean? If you look at the finished design, you can already kind of see how it's slowly coming together. We're slightly in there. Okay, so now we're going to jump on the next part of the design, which is going to be the body text. Okay, so dot body text wrap. This is going to have a border radius 30%. I mean 30 pixels even. And we have a padding of 45 pixels on the top. It's going to have 10 pixels on the left and right. It's going to have 30 pixels on the top. Okay, just kind of gives it that nice kind of push. Alright, and then we're going to add a height of 20 VH, so the same as when we use vertical width earlier. It's a vertical height, does the same thing, just takes up the 20% of the view width's height. And then we're going to add a background color. This time it's going to be a RGBA. Okay. And this RGBA is going to be 29, 32, 36, and we're going to add 1 right now because we don't want it to be invisible. We want to actually be able to see the text, okay? But we're going to change that later with that hover effect like I have in the finished version, okay? So you're going to add that, but right now we need to see it so we can kind of apply some more styles to it, okay? Okay, so now we can start on the title. So it's going to have a color of white. Scroll down a little. There we go. Title of white. We're going to have a font weight of 600, like the page title. Okay, so 600. And then we're going to have a font size of 20 pixels. Okay. And then we're going to have a text align of center. Okay. Now we're going to do the paragraph as well. So that's dot info text. Again, it's going to have a color white. It's going to have a font weight of 400. Have a font size 14 pixels, and again we're going to just align the text to the center. It looks a tiny bit nicer. And then okay, so it isn't spilling over the page like that, we're also going to add a width of 280 pixels. Okay, so there you go, it looks a hell of a lot nicer. Okay, sweet. So yeah, it's design's slowly coming along. If we look at the finished products, look, we're actually more or less there. We just need to do the more info quick, and obviously the top image, so it's kind of sat in the middle. Because if you see in the finished design, you see how the image and the background is kind of sat in the middle of the border of the body text. So we'll do that now quick. That's why I didn't mess with the opacity so far. So we scroll all the way back up to the image wrap. Okay, and then under the border race, just obviously hit enter. And we're going to set the position to relative. Okay, and what this is going to do is exactly what it says. It's going to take its current position where it is right now. Okay, so here, and whatever we add to it, so we can say bottom, top 30 pixels, for example, which is what we're going to do. And it's just going to move it. So if I show you that in action, it'll probably be a hell of a lot easier for you to understand. Okay, so we're going to say the top 30 pixels, right? See how it moves? So if I say top 80 pixels, it's going to go further down, alright? It's basically just going to move relative to where it was. And then we're going to give this a... I don't think we need to give it a Z index, to be honest. I was going to, but we might not need to. So what, we'll give one anyway. So Z index of 5. Do you know what that does? It basically just... The Z index, you have like the Y and the X index, which is the left, right, and obviously up and down. And Z index is basically if something's in front of something. So say if you had like your hand in front of your other hand, your backhand, if you change that Z index to 5, it's now in front of the hand that was previously in front, okay? It's probably a little bit confusing, but basically it just decides what should be on top of what element depending on its value, okay? So 5 is high, obviously a minus would mean it'd be behind it. Okay, I'll probably demonstrate that now actually. See, give it a -5, it's hidden. Give it a 5, it's visible. Okay. And that is practically it right now. Okay, so then we just need to move down to the anchor tag. Okay, so dot more info is I believe what we called it. Is that what we called it? Let's double check. Yes it is, okay. So yeah, more info. And it's going to have a text decoration of none. Okay, that's basically going to remove that underline and kind of shiny blue. Then we're going to align the text again to the center. We're going to set the color of it to this nice kind of blue. So it's going to be a 2B 74 FF. Okay, let's give that a nice kind of light blue. It's going to have a font size of 13 pixels. It's going to have a position of relative as well. It's just like we did with the image. We're going to do the same with the anchor tag, okay? If I can write position relative. It's position relative. There we go. Okay, and this one is going to have a bottom of 30 pixels. It's basically going to go up. You see what I mean? It's going to up and just fit nicely, snug on the top of that. I'm going to give this an opacity of 0. So you're not going to be able to see it. And we will fix that in a minute. Okay, so now we actually have the fun stuff. This is where we're going to add that nice transition effect over the whole kind of body, okay? If you see what I mean. So on our actual design, obviously, all of this info we have right now kind of just fades nicely in. And the background of the image changes to a nice blue color as well. So that's what we're going to work on right now. And with this, we're going to use a pseudo element, which is going to be hover, okay? Which basically means when the mouse hovers, when the mouse hovers over it, it's going to change things, okay? And we do this in a really, really clever way, all right? So what we do is we comment here and we say hover effects, so we can see the separation, all right? What we're going to do is dot feature hover, and what we're going to do is we're going to do an arrow. I'm going to say dot body text wrap. Okay, now explain the code. So what this little arrow is here is basically referring to like the hierarchy of our code. So if you look back at the HTML, we have feature info, right? And that's the reason why I did this, because it allows us to be a lot more clever than what we can do with the code. So with feature info, obviously we know everything else in this code, like obviously the image, the title, the p tag, all of that, it's all wrapped in the feature info. So what this means is rather than us hovering over individual element and lighting each individual thing up, we can light the whole thing up like this using the feature, okay? So I have an easier way to explain this, okay? So I just take this out and just say hover just over the feature info, right? And I'd say border, say 10 pixels. We say border 20 pixels actually. So 20 pixels, solid, red, okay? So I'll hover over all of this. See how you can see the whole feature container? See what I mean? That whole container we're referring to. So we're not referring to just one thing. If we hover over just one thing, like just the image bit would light up, or just the body of this part would light up. Okay, but as we refer to the whole feature, because of how we've laid out the HTML, it means we can refer to the whole thing, which lets us do this cool, really hover effect where everything kind of hovers and like comes in. It just kind of fades in, which is really cool, okay? So if I press Command Z, take that back. Now you got the body text wrap. And the arrow just basically means if it's like a sibling of the overall container, because obviously we have feature info and it's a container of all of this. So what this is doing is saying arrow, saying find body text wrap in this wrap. So it's going to look, find body text, and then we can access that with just hovering over this tag, okay, which is pretty cool. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to say background color 29. No, it's a bit RGB, I can't even say it, RGBA. And it's going to be a same thing again, 29, 32, 36, 0.9. Okay, and if we go back up to the body text wrap, we can just turn this to 0. Now it's going to go, but when we hover over, see it's going to jump in. Obviously we haven't done a transition yet, so it's going to be kind of clunky, but you see how it's kind of working? Okay. And then if we go up to body text wrap and do a transition, so let's do a transition, we just write transition, do 500 milliseconds. And we're going to say ease in. Just going to slowly ease the animation in. See what I mean? It's going to look kind of nice. Okay, yeah, so now we have matte fade in. So we do the next one, which would be the image wrap. So same again. Dot feature, info, hover, greater than sign, and then dot image wrap. This is going to have a background color of 2B, 7F, FF. Okay, now hover over that, we've got that nice blue look now. Okay, now we just need to do the more info section, which is actually pretty easy. Say the same again, feature, info, hover. But this time I'm going to target more info. Okay, and this was going to set the opacity to 1, so now it becomes visible. Okay, now we need to do the transitions. Actually, just one more thing, I'll do some more info. So when we hover over it, we're going to underline. Okay, so we'll do that quickly. So it's more info, hover, I would say text decoration, and we say underline. Okay, now underline it. Okay, and if we scroll all the way back up to image wrap, I believe. Yep, image wrap. Scroll all the way up. There we go, and we just say transition. Same again, 500 milliseconds. And we're just going to ease in. Okay. And then if we go to more info, transition again, 500 milliseconds, but with this one, we're going to have a delay 300 milliseconds. You don't have to do this, but I just think personally it makes the design just look a little bit nicer, because it basically comes in at a little delay to everything else. Just nice little effect. It's going to have ease instead of ease in. Okay, save that. Okay, so the design's practically done. Got that really nice hover effect. Everything fades in nicely. Lean more comes in like a second later than everything else. Really nice. When you hover over it, it underlines, so it shows the user they can click it. Very nice. Again, super customizable, so you can do what you want with it. You can animate it in, change the colors, use it exactly how you want. It's great. Okay, we just need basically to make it responsive. To do that, really simple. We're just going to change the height to 100%. Okay, and that is going to make it fully responsive. Okay, so if I go in settings, is it settings? No, if I right click, inspect. Okay, I'll do that again a bit slower, but right click, inspect. And if you click this little icon here, I've already done it, but if you click it, it'll go into the responsive mode. Make that bigger. And you can basically see, no matter how small you make it, it will fit on any screen, which is a very nice touch. If you look at all the mobiles, look, it looks great on everything. Pixel, Pixel XL, iPhone X, iPad Pro. Go through all these, look, 4K looks great. Laptop size looks great. Pretty sure it lean more, it's meant to be learn more, but there you go. Mobile looks great. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, there'll be more videos coming this way. If this helps you, please let me know, and if you get stuck at any point in this video, just whack a comment down and I'll try to help you as best as I can. Alright, see you in the next one.